Hello, hello, friends of the stars. How are you? I'm doing a spontaneous cosmic update here, as I usually do, whether it's late night, early morning, you never know when I'm gonna drop a cosmic update. I guess that's the like the tonic of this podcast kind of situation going on here. You never know. Like, it's super random. I do not commit to any kind of like frequency. You just get what you get when you get it. Anyway, thank you for for riding this wild rhythm with me. I'm here having some tea because I feel really cozy, and I just wanted to share with you some thoughts about the new moon in Pisces that I've been like having this feeling of talking about this um for a little while, like just thinking about Pisces, like ever since we've been in this like Pisces season. And I'm just remembering the previous years, and just like because I've been like sharing these like updates for so long, I'm already also seeing, like, I remember the things that have happened before. um so when it comes to Pisces, like I remember 2021 and 2022 were years that, yes, there were other way more like dramatic astrological situations happening. So the entire Pisces thing was a little bit on the background, especially in 2021. The major like transits of 2021, I remember, was like between Saturn being in Aquarius and the square that was happening between Uranus and Saturn. Like that was that was 2021. And but at the same time, just very much in the background, um we had a really cool situation, which was Jupiter in Pisces. So Jupiter right now is in Taurus, which is also cool, and I want to share more about that with you in another update. But what happened 2021 and 2022, especially like the moment, and I did talk about this. I remember I talked about it because it was like a whoa, this doesn't happen in, like, I would have to double check real quick here, like how often um did this happen. I can't remember, but I know that Jupiter and Neptune meet every 13 years. So what happened in 2022 was that Jupiter and Neptune met. Um, and what I noticed quickly looking at this yesterday was that it seems to happen in a different sign every 13 years. So I just went and checked, and this actually happened 166 years ago in 1856, the last time that Jupiter and Neptune met in Pisces. It'll probably happen in another 166 years more. That's how rare this event was in 2022, in April of 2022. I think it was the April 12th, if I remember correctly. And then that was like actually a really fascinating event because it's so ethereal. Like Pisces is very ethereal. It's ephemeral, um just like a dream is, and just like an intuition is also. That's why it's so important to have a relationship with this part of ourselves that tunes into um you know like the mystical, the imaginal, the spiritual, because otherwise the volume of that voice, or it would, any kind of word that we try to use to describe this, of course it's not going to do it justice. So um just bear with me as I try. So every time this little voice speaks, it's so whispery, right? It's so subtle, like a dream or like a vision, or that if you don't pick it up, if you don't listen, if you don't look at it, it'll go away. It's like a little, it's like a letter. Like in Chile we call the dandelion, there's one, I think it is a dandelion, like a kind of dandelion that blows in the wind, that is like bigger, and sometimes in the spring you'll just like randomly receive it, like it'll just randomly come to you, and it's like seen as a signal of something special. It's like a good luck sign, just like when a ladybug lands on you, and it's like, oh, you have a ladybug on, and the the belief is that if the ladybug just flies away, it means that something good will happen to you. That the fact that it landed on you and then just went on its way, like flew away. So I don't know. I like to think of these things as like these synchronicities, right? That are like, if you're not looking at this, like if you're not expecting the magic, if you're not open to receive it, it'll just like pass by. It'll fly by you, and you may have a ladybug on your shoulder, and you're not gonna ever know. You never knew that it was there, right? So that's the feeling, that's the vibe of Pisces. And the meeting of Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces in April of 2022 was very magical. It was very magical. It was a moment of heightened magic, for lack of better words. Or Neptune, you have heard me, if you had been following my content for a while, you've heard me many times call Neptune a portal, because that's just like how it feels for me. It really is, like, for me, the best word to describe Neptune, like a portal that just opens in the middle of the matrix, right? And you just like see through, and it's like, whoa, what was that? Right? And then that's Neptune. That's that planet. It's one of the rulers of Pisces. And then Jupiter is the old traditional ruler of Pisces. And Jupiter is the planet that represents our quest for meaning in life. So the part of Jupiter that is associated with Pisces, because it's also the ruler of Sagittarius, but the Piscean part of this search for meaning in life is very spiritual. So we have both, like, the philosopher and the portal meeting in the most ethereal, magical, and spiritual signs of the zodiac. So this was like, it was really crazy. But we may have not noticed this at all, because that's how these moments are. And so we are right now, like, I'm recording this, today is March 9th, and it's it pretty much started at 7 p.m. exactly, recording this message. So really interesting moment, really magical moment we're in right now. We're hours away from the new moon in Pisces right now. It will be at 3 a.m. in the time zone I am, which is mountain time. So how many hours is that? Help me, please. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. We're 8 hours away from the exact new moon, and the moon is in Pisces, obviously, right now. And it's not just the moon. We're also, so let me take a look at the chart here. We have Saturn and Neptune as well, right? At the moment of the new moon in Pisces, the new moon is at 20 degrees of Pisces, and it is doing a really beautiful connection with. So on the one side, yes, Uranus, like that's the straight up direct connection that the new moon has with another planet. It's actually the only one that is like so tightly in an aspect with yeah, we could say Mars too. And Mars is kind of like the antagonist here. Mars is like the challenge. But we'll talk about that in a bit. So the fact that so yeah, oh sorry, going back a little bit. So Uranus on the one side, but also this new moon is pretty close to both Saturn and Neptune, which both of them are in Pisces right now. So this is and Saturn is connecting with Jupiter in Taurus. So I know that you might not know what this means. My idea is to just explain this to you in the easiest way possible. So that's what I'm going to try to do, so that you get what I'm trying to say. You get this, why this message, why I needed to record this right now. So first of all, and this is something that I have mentioned in like my previous like mainly written updates that I've been doing lately. First of all, we have this really cool, really constructive, really progressive, and moving, like a movement that's happening, very concrete sort of movement that's happening in regards to what is building right now in our lives. This has to do with the amazing connection that Jupiter and Saturn have at the moment right now. And it's been happening like since like early this year, I'm pretty sure. And then we also have, just double checking this, what I just said. Yeah, like we started 2024 actually kind of like since December, kind of started building up probably mid-December, and then yeah, it's so impressive, astrology, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, we're in this like very nice collaborative energy between that which is expanding and what we are building. So it's a very growth oriented time, and this has been happening all throughout the year. So this is what I try to say when we're like, yes, we're looking at certain other things in the astrology that might be challenging, right? Like, for example, we have the eclipses coming now, or sometimes, I don't know, like there's this like Mars Saturn thing or whatever. There's challenges, right? But underneath all of that, there's been this collaboration between Jupiter and Saturn all along. So there is something, like, even though some areas of our life are feeling challenging, some areas of our life are like suffering from a sort of metamorphosis and completely changing, or some layers of our identity are being shed, whatever. There's always some sort of transformation, but this part that we're trying to pinpoint here, we're trying to understand what part of our lives is this Pisces area. This is why I'm telling you the timeline of stuff that has been going on in Pisces. And I'm actually going to trace back again a little bit even further in a moment. But yes, something that for perhaps a long time was dreamt of, something that in this specific timeline, 2021, 2022, that I was just talking about, it got even more deeply envisioned and somehow intuited, but very much in the in the more hidden experience of life, because there were other more concrete, more day to day, or more I don't want to use the word mundane, but more worldly concerns that keep our consciousness busy, while this very magical thing was going on in the back. Okay, like in the background. Not in a dramatic, not in a very like visible way, because of the energy that I've been trying to transmit in this message is like, it's very ethereal. So what happens then is that in 2023, a year ago exactly, on March 7th, 2023, a very concrete planet enters Pisces. So it's no longer so much of a dream. Now it's the life coalesces, or circumstances sort of align for this to be like the moment to start building this dream. March 2023. Like we're no longer just envisioning it. We're no longer just having images or visions about this. No, now it's actually time to work on it, and that starts to feel heavy. Heavy is a quality of Saturn. Saturn makes things heavy because it's literally like gravity. Like if we were not pulled by gravity, if gravity is actually such a thing, it's just really a great metaphor of Saturn. It's a great archetypal idea for Saturn, gravity, because gravity builds muscle. Gravity builds structure, builds it also over time. It's like both gravity and time together is so Saturnian. So yeah, Saturn is a very, very concrete planet, right? As some of you know, if you've gotten a reading done ever, like you probably were told about your Saturn and how it is related to our purpose in terms of the work we're doing. Because wherever our Saturn is, we take that part of life very seriously. And anyway, so when Saturn suddenly comes here into Pisces, which by the way happens every about 28 years, so it's like it's also not something that happens all the time, right? So the Jupiter Neptune meeting in 2022 was a once in a lifetime thing, and then we have Saturn coming here, which is something that happens about every 3 decades. So it's also, this is an important thing that's developing here, and I'll give you more reasons why. Anyway, so yes, Saturn comes here a year ago, right? And then now, March 10th of 2024, we're having a new moon there. So this is the first new moon that we have here that has Saturn there. Probably like one of two that we'll have with both Saturn and Neptune there, because Neptune will move on into Aries soon as well, so it's gonna leave this area, and we're not gonna ever again have Neptune in Pisces in our lifetime, because this is a very slow planet, so it's not gonna do it again for us. And it gets even more interesting than that, right? So the fact that we have a new moon, this is so beautiful, because it's like, yes, we were envisioning it. We had this like great vision, 2021, 2022, and then 2023, Saturn starts to work on it, like starts to concretize or concretify. I don't know how to say it, but starts to bring shape into this ethereal vision, ethereal dream. And now this new moon is like a seed that is planted that makes it even more tangible. And the reason why this is so fascinating and interesting is that 6 months from now, so the full moon that corresponds with this new moon in Pisces, is the first eclipse that we'll have in Pisces in about a decade. So again, we have like a super epic, like, oh wow, like what is happening in this? And that's why I think it's so important. Like, make sure you know which is the Pisces area of your life. The thing is, this new moon is really interesting. I'm just really curious to see how this develops. Like, and a couple of questions for you, just to, I'm not gonna get too deep into what the new moon aspects and like the Uranus and this and that, because I wrote a blog post about it that you can check, and it's not like we don't need to think about that. We don't need to learn astrology. What I want you to think about instead of trying to understand astrology, think about how do these timelines like connect in your story. Like, when you think of, you can go as back as 2011, because that's when Neptune entered Pisces. And between 2011 and 2018, like for 7 years, Neptune was there with Chiron. This is a whole new tangent that I'm not really going to explore so much in depth, but this helps you a bit more identify or clarify what this Pisces area of life is for you. And what I mean by that, that's what house in your chart it is just straight up that. That'll depend on your rising sign. It'll depend on your time of birth. Find where Pisces is and look that up, or book a reading with me and I'll tell you, but way easier. But what those 7 years might have been about might have been really about surrendering a lot into some kind of healing process in relation to that area, right? And it could have been really like a trial surrounding faith, perhaps like a sense of, do I deserve to be a child of God kind of thing, or weaving a healing process with our connection to spirit, however it is. It might have been a lot about other types of surrendering, other types of like letting go. So that was like a long time. And then Chiron moved on and it's now in Aries, right? And then but Neptune's still there, and 2023 Saturn comes in, right? 2021 Jupiter comes in, and then 2023 Saturn comes in, and now we have this new moon, and then come the eclipses. First one is September 17th this year, and then we'll start with this series in 2025. So I'll just leave you with these questions for you to think about right now. You don't even need to do anything like extra. Just think about for a little bit about your dreams. There are many, many, many stressors in life. There are many distractions right now. Many distractions. And the connection with spirit, that relationship, might be feeling heavy, hard, and tested right now. Because you're building muscle. You're building muscle spiritually, faith-wise. It's a test of faith, right? That's Saturn. But at the same time, we have the portal. And at the same time, we have support. We have a support. It's very interesting right now that the support might be coming directly from nature, symbolized by Jupiter being in Taurus, Jupiter as a ruler of Pisces. It's almost like go and find in your body, which is your piece of nature, your own personal land. Your plot is your body, actually. And the nature around you, everywhere, that's everywhere. You don't need to go to nature. Nature is all the time there with you, and the air you're breathing is nature. The water you're showering under is nature, even if it's going through the pipelines and has chlorine and whatever, it still is. You are. So what is your body intuiting? And what are the dreams that are really there in you? Despite the noise, despite the distractions, because you know what? You're in a moment right now. The new moon is like happening. You're in a moment right now where whatever is this little voice, whatever are the synchronicities, whatever are the intuitions, whatever are the breadcrumbs that seem random, but you know that they're not random. Where are they truly taking you? It's so important that we pay attention to this. It's so important because you're in a moment where you have an opportunity to listen to these messages very clearly. And whatever the dream that is longing to live, that is in you, has an actually really nice few elements that support it. The other planetary alignments that support it. And the only biggest challenge here with Mars is to dare to do it. Is to dare to do it, and to, be what you really are, and what you've been healing. We've been healing our sense of identity and our feeling of being separate from others as individuals. Like, we're all together, we're all this collective, but we have very specific individual identities and egos. And our egos might be damaged, might be carrying labels that weigh us down, and we've been healing this since 2018 with Chiron in Aries, but especially now. Now is such an epic moment of Chiron in Aries because the North Node, one of the eclipse points, is right there with it, and it has been with it all this year. 2024 has been fascinating already, right? And so this is really, it's like, you know what? You know what you really want, and you know who you really are. And you've just been allowing this expectations and labels and relationships to limit you. And Mars being in Aquarius and squaring Uranus, and like as the ruler of Chiron, the North Node, Mars in this new moon is literally saying, hey, don't give any more fucks. It's not the time for that. But that can feel hard, right? It can feel difficult to just, oh, it's like, oh yeah, you say that. That sounds amazing. And I have no idea um, why you make it sound so easy. Why you make it seem as if it wasn't hard. No, I know it's hard because our egos are afraid. Our egos try to protect themselves. And it's fine. It's like it's okay. It's okay. There's many reasons why we try to protect these egos. So many reasons why. They are defense mechanisms. They are our defense mechanisms because we have identified with these personas that have been labeled and criticized. And we're not those personas. And we may now recognize a new persona that wants to be. Honoring your needs more, honoring who you are more, honoring your true desires more, honoring your true dreams more. But allowing that to come out just like a new skin when you have a big scar and it's like this tough layer that is covering the wound, right, until new skin arrives, and then you slowly that I don't know the word for that, the hard thing that is like ugly and stuff, and then that part falls out, right, and the skin underneath sometimes might even not be entirely ready for that hard thing to fall out, and we may still have a little bit of a wound, and the surrounding skin that has healed is very sensitive. So we're afraid of that. We're afraid of that because we are afraid, naturally, of our egos being wounded again because we identify with our egos. And it's fine. All of this is natural. But when you think about it that way, you really are allowed to change. It's fine. You can change. Your identity can change. Your ego can change. It's fine. And so, what's the dream? People will learn, people will adapt or not. Who cares? This is also a time, the South Node in Libra, right? This is a time. And by the way, Venus is in Aquarius too, so she rules Libra relationships, and the South Node represents purge. So here's part of of this whole process we are in, we've been in since last year. Anyway, I will leave it there because this got really long and I don't want to make it so long. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this. There's a meditation I did for the new moon. I don't know if you did it, but I hope that helps you also. It was designed, especially for this moment, and it has the same intention as this message. Anyway, happy new moon. Dream on, dreamers. Let's make this a better world.